I've written this before and put it on Facebook before, but I want to mention it again and talk about it again. Many of the organized religions talk about us living one life and then going to heaven or going to hell based on what we did in that one life. We've got 650 billion galaxies in this universe. One life is nothing. It means nothing. It's just a flash in the pan. I know you may think I'm crazy, but then again, a whole lot more people on this planet believe in multiple lifetimes than they do in just one life and going to heaven or hell or being raptured or whatever. It's just not logical. Our minds need challenges and our lives need challenges, and we need to learn a lot, and we cannot learn a lot in one lifetime. So karma. Let's talk about karma. Karma doesn't mean punishment. Some people say you have bad karma or good karma, but it doesn't mean punishment. It means you move on in a positive direction. And you move on in that positive direction with the knowledges that you have gained from the life you just lived. Bad karma, good karma, what do they mean? Definitions of karma can be somewhat confusing. If we look up the short definition from Wikipedia, it goes this way. It means action or work that you do or deed. Also refers to the principle of causality, where intent and actions of an individual influence the future of that individual. Good intent and good deed contribute to good karma and future happiness, while bad intent and bad deed contribute to bad karma and future suffering, which you inflict on yourself, by the way, from your own choice. You know what you've got to do and what you've got to learn and what you didn't learn, and so what you've got to go through in order to learn that in the next life. Karma is closely associated with the idea of rebirth. In some schools of Asian religions, and in these schools, karma is the present affects one's future in the current life, as well as the nature and quality of future lives too. That's really where we're talking about karma being bad or good. Overall, the concept of karma has taken on many forms, as it has been bastardized by Western religious interpretations with statements like what goes around comes around. People say this often along with cavalier statements like, maybe that'll happen in the next life, or if we were just in another life, then that might be the case, or perhaps in another life. So we have generally seemed to accept both karma and reincarnation concepts in daily routine, yet officially organized Western religion never accepts karma or the ideas of karma or the concepts that are involved, and they ignore any references to reincarnation, even though Jesus himself said you can't enter in the kingdom of heaven without having been reborn. And so what the people who didn't want to accept the idea of multiple lives did was they said, oh, they mean spiritual rebirth, to be reborn in a new process of thought based on whatever their interpretation of what is good or bad happens to be. Karma, it does not mean that you are going to be plagued with bad memories or anything like that. Memories are supposed to provide and occasionally present situations which will touch a karmic memory, and that sometimes touches it with enough detail brought forth to produce the feeling of déjà vu. The reason we feel that we've been in such a situation before is because when we have. Our minds will take the input which stirs the memory, and in the interest of continuity, convert our memory strand into a contemporary relatable picture, which seems identical to our current situation, so hence the feeling of having performed the same actions or seen the same things under similar conditions before. As a short and revealing explanation, I have to say that it's indeed karma which determines what sort of life we will live, but our karma isn't really tallied up by some universal scorekeeper. Each of us keeps a running tally of our own karmic history, basing it on our total deviations on the word which we are given in the form of our consciences. If we've gone away from that word, then our karma is not good. And if we stay with the word of our consciences, which is basically follow the golden rule, then our karma is better. If we do something that intentionally harms others when we could have chosen not to, we earn some what is called bad karma, which we'll schedule ourselves to address in our next existence. My God, the degree of harm that we're seeing done by Trump and the GOP and people like that, they are going to have a bad time in the next life or 2 or 3 or 10. The degree of harm actually that we do will be that determines our karmic debt. Those circumstances and choice and position and power do serve as modifiers of the overall total. Believe it or not, personal deviations from right action do more to hurt our overall tabula karma, that's our karmic memory, than ones where we are acting as an agent of others, though there are a few variables to be considered here, such as our choices and expectations of others concerning our responsibilities to them and to others. Overall, our karma is affected in a negative fashion if we cause individual or collective harm, if there was a way to have avoided causing the harm, or the situation which resulted in the harm. Really, it's important to understand that our best course of action in all conditions is to be nice. I keep saying this all the time. And being right, though sometimes you are, doesn't necessarily make you nice, but if you are nice, you will always be right. If we build up bad karma, then we have to make a plan after we pass on to live a life dedicated to correction of our karmic imbalance. The reason there's no heaven or hell is because life is about learning and spiritual advancement, not reward and punishment. To burn and suffer eternally from committing some ill or collection of ills negates the very purpose of life, which is learning to love unselfishly and support and protect and defend and uplift one another. To be rewarded with a heavenly existence after perhaps only one lifetime serves to deny the multidimensionality of existence. Learning about it is fun. Striving to obtain knowledge, that's the challenge of existence, to learn why we're here, and then be able to create our own universes to enable other beings to discover why they're here. Life needs challenges, and the only way to be able to face them is to be able to be surprised and never end the learning process. Complete, total seeking of new knowledge. That's the purpose of karma. Thank you. Have a nice evening.